What? What happens to my Did the internet mess up? Oh, the internet went offline. What the heck? How dare they mess up my... Oh well, I'll fix it later then. Okay, restart. Restart. Oh, that bad boy. Yeah. So when was the last YouTube album? I'm sorry, YouTube album? YouTube album. When was the last time YouTube released an album? Google Alphabet, all those tech engineers were working on their album. Yeah. When's the last time the Google Alphabet engineers, they said, you know what, I don't know about all this AI and robotic stuff. We need to make an album. It's been a long time since YouTube got together. Everybody, put down all your math and science and all your Google Alphabet YouTube stuff, and I want you to, we need to get an album on YouTube again. I had to release a belch. Yeah. So U-Turd, U2 released an album. The last one was 2017 or something. 9 years ago or whatever. Irish rock band from Dublin, Ireland, I believe. Most famous in the 1980s, 1990s. And they tried to keep their flame alive during the computer digital dance sampling auto-tune musicopolis. Is it musicocalypse? Musicocalypse of the major music industry musicocalypse in the early 2000s, due to the rise of, well, it was because of a lot of crappy rock bands were coming out, and with a few exceptions, you know, the White Stripes and the Darkness, Kings of Leon, and other notable exceptions, but mostly it was like a rock and roll dark age, I would say. The rise of rap, hip hop, and pop, electronic, and dance music, computerized music, the beginning of like talentless music. So, I mean, the beginnings had laid the seeds maybe in the 1970s, maybe the 1980s with sampling. In the 1990s, definitely people were structuring entire songs off sampling and rapping on samples, and that shit was going on since the early 90s. But your really, really, really talentless music started to happen in the 21st century. The real talentless music, where some guy would have an auto tune and just go, and if his voice was out of tune, the fucking computer would just fix it. So I didn't have to be talented at all. My feelings. Auto-tune, sampling, computerized music, and then of course now we have, the Velvet Sundown with the AI, artificial intelligence. So, yeah. So U2, like a lot of old bands, struggled in the really weird landscape of the. A lot of rock bands wanted to do like the old formula, which is you get your crew together and you jam out, and maybe some of you live together, and then you create your EP and save up the money. You work real hard to get into the studio, and then you send it out to the music industry executives, or you get discovered in a bar or something, or a venue, and then you're on your way, right? You'll get your shot at but with the computers, auto-tune, the death of radio stations, file sharing, the internet, social media, things were rapidly changing, so they couldn't do stuff like in their dad's day or their grandfather's day and do that rock and roll thing. It was a lot more difficult in the 21st century. Now, I'm not saying that people can't do it still. I'm not saying there's some young guys get together and practice a lot and write some excellent tunes and know what they're doing and know how to work the social media and know how to play live and know how to do the game. I'm not saying. It's just a lot more difficult, right? If somebody's like, man, I really want to break into the business, it's a lot more difficult than it's ever been. Well, now people aren't just competing against other people now, right? They're competing against robots and AI and all that. When people were just competing against people for money and goods and services and resources and chicks and tits and ass and everything, it was had its own level of difficulty. But against robots and artificial intelligence, wow, that difficulty is just going to exponentially increase. Background noise of my mom trying to yell at Tula and Bella, the two Shih Tzus. They fight for my mother's affection. Everyone fights for my mother. Go ahead. Yeah, everybody does tend to like my mom, huh? They like my mother because she's really like 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 she's really loyal and shit. So like if she's on your team, she's like the person who has your back. She's not like the person who's like, oh well, looks like shit's fucked up. Good luck, and at least there's a lot of people like that in life. But mother, thankfully, is not that. It's not that way. Yeah, having somebody so loyal on the team, having that loyalty. Yeah, it is pretty useful sometimes. Some shit's going down, and you need somebody who's gonna stick through the fight. And that's definitely mom. But the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree sometimes. I'm prolific in my own way, so. My mom lost her diamond earring, and we tore the house apart and cleaned everywhere, and finally, after 2 days, I found it. I solved the case of the missing diamond earring. Well, sometimes reading those old Sherlock Holmes novels and stories. Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't face the struggles as often as other people. I mean, with photographic eidetic memory, I usually remember where I place things. So usually I just say, oh, it's in my head. It's like in a movie. I just hit rewind. Usually that's how my brain works. But like other people's brains, not so much. They can't really just replay their tape in their head. Be like, oh. Sometimes I can play the tape in my head. I can just rewind. I can just, rewind the DVR for today's generation. Yeah, I can rewind the DVR because I already have the movies already in my head, the movies of life, and I just hit the DVR and it goes. I go, oh, there's where the key is. Oh, okay. Oh, that's where the gold watch is. Yeah. Oh, that's where the diamond earring fell. Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. So what do I got to do if I didn't see it myself? Well, then I have to deduce. So I have to use logic at that point. And I have to say, okay, mom says that the earring could be, maybe it fell in the sink, maybe it's in the trash. And then so I immediately said, it's probably not in the trash because why would you have your earring near the trash? And she said, well, I threw some stuff away, but I was like, still, why would you keep one of your most prized possessions, diamonds and gold, and have it near the trash? I mean, that doesn't make sense, so. I said, well, the sink idea. I was like, well, the sink. So I went to go inspect the sink, and I'm like, okay, does this make sense? Could this diamond earring, like this big, look at the diameter of the hole in the sink, and I'm like, well, this is where, logic comes into play because you get to think about math and space and geometry and all that. And I said, well, it could have fell down there, but it looks like it might have gotten stuck at the bathroom sink. So then I looked over I said, have you checked in here? There's this, cage thing with soaps. Had soaps, and one of my mother and my stepdad, they like to go to Florida and Hawaii, and they like to go to Cancun, and they like to go on these trips, and wherever they go in the water, in the islands or the vacation trips, they always or the hotels, they always collect the soap, and they collect souvenirs of the soap, and so they get lotions and soaps and stuff from their island aquatic adventures or whatever you want to call it. So mom has this basket of all this, Florida or Hawaii lotion stuff. was like, did you check in here? She's like, well, you can check in there. And I was like, well, it's close to the sink where you thought it fell. So I was like, well, give this a try. Yeah, I didn't see where the person lost their thing, but I was like, well, it's got to be. So I started looking for things that were like adjacent, logical, like, okay, so the person thinks they put it somewhere, but maybe the place where they think they dropped something is totally illogical. A lot of times when people lose things, it's like, oh shit, where's my keys? But it's in your pants or something like that, you know. You don't actually need a photographic eidetic memory to solve the mystery of the where items are all the time. Sometimes you can just use deductive logic, you know, like, well, if someone says that they lost their keys near the trash can, maybe they lost it near the tree is adjacent, so maybe they dropped it near the tree. So you look for places that are adjacent, you know, that aren't exactly that are not too far away to be ridiculous, and not exactly what the person with the, you know, let's say average or faulty memory said. And it's not that people are like, most human beings are trying to have faulty or false memories. It's just a lot of times it's pretty average. You know, it's not always because they're drunk or stoned. Sometimes it's just the human memory usually isn't that good. It's really kind of, you know, substandard, and so it's not up to par. And or memory can get selective. So some people are like, I don't know, selecting memories to make themselves look good. It's kind of like, well, yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. When I just left. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So most people have selective memory. Selective, and usually the selectivity is to favor their own side or themselves. So it's like, it's not really based on necessarily the truth. It's just kind of like if you get together with a bunch of old buddies, you know, from high school or college, and start comparing memories, you're going to realize a lot of people are going to have bias, and it's going to seem like you didn't win or ever. You know, it would seem like everybody else has a story where they were like way better. You know, they had a tall tale where they were perfect or something, and you had made more mistakes than they did, or you know what I mean. So that is selective memory or biased memory. That's not really tied to the facts of actually what happened. So the U2, the Irish rock band that decided to drop the U-Turds on us on Ash Wednesday, they're Catholics. Yeah, they're Catholic. It's yeah. I guess that's what Catholic is. What is a Catholic? Sounds like a good sexual position. Catholic. Sounds like my style. No. With the Catholics, what does that mean? It's like an ancient cult from Italy or something. It's an ancient cult from Italy that tried to control Catholicism. Is like this ancient cult which believes that men can have emissaries to God. Right? That's what a Catholic is. That they believe that man has a gateway to God, and there's popes and cardinals and bishops and all that, the Vatican, and that there's actually emissaries to God, which, you know, a true religion wouldn't have human representations or representatives, you know, right? So, anyways, in my personal opinion, but I'm not Protestant, I'm just saying. but it does seem like pretty, and it's an interesting ancient cult, but it's not one I really trust. You know, it's like, usually when I meet Catholics, they seem like that crazy mom, or they seem like that wobbly kind of believer. Like, it just seems like it's kind of people, you know, it's not really always, I mean, maybe it's stable in some cases, but usually it just seems kind of icky. Or as Billy Joel would say, Catholic girls wait much too late. You know, but sooner or later it comes down to fate, because only the good die young. So do I trust the Catholic Church, Catholic people? It's something that's around, but I'm not really, you know, into it. You know, I don't really trust it. Well, first of all, I would disagree of the tenet that men can be representatives of God. So there you go. I don't already I don't believe in it. So see ya. It's over. So at that point, it's already over. Already lost me. Yep. I'm not saying that Catholicism is bad or evil. You know, I'm not going to say it's good or evil. I'm just saying I'm not a Catholic. That's all I'm saying. It's not like I don't respect it. I'm just not a Catholic. So there it is. I know my ancient people fought bloody wars in Ireland over that. Who was Protestant, who was Catholic, and all that. Yeah. Split the country in two, and the English and everything. Yeah, I know. That's you know, my ancestors, right? Or a lot of our ancestors. A lot of people are Irish diaspora in some form or fashion. So. Believe it or not, in the 1980s, they would teach me in school about Irish terrorism, the IRA, the Irish Republican Army, and all that. Yeah, believe it or not. In American schools, mind you. I can't believe I was in a world history class and they were teaching about Irish terrorism. Like, watch out for the Irish terrorists. Are they gonna throw fucking potatoes at you or what? Throw fucking whiskey and potatoes at people? Ooh, the Irish terrorists. Yeah, that's really scary. Not. So, yeah, that was actually a thing. I remember that. Yeah, being in school, they talking about the IRA and, you know. So U2, one of the premier Irish rock bands from Ireland. Let's go with what are the other ones? The Cranberries. My favorite is My Bloody Valentine. So that's actually, I like them better than U2 now. So if you asked me in the 1980s, I wouldn't even know who My Bloody Valentine. The Cranberries didn't come out till the 1990s. So if you asked me what was my favorite Irish rock band, and the Ash wasn't around yet with Tim Wheeler and on and on. So I would say, who is my favorite Irish rock band? Well, there's only one that was like filling in the void that the Beatles left when they broke up in 1969. That band was called U2. Post-punk, new wave, kind of classical rock, contemporary rock band. And that was filling that void that the Beatles left. They were filling up that, you know, four guys playing with the singer and the rhythm guitarist and bass player, drummer. They're filling that four-man void, you know. That after the Beatles broke up, it was like the world was like, oh man, well, we had this format where it was four guys and they were jamming out. Now, you know, now the Beatles aren't here, so now all these other bands are coming out that are, you know, variations of that, you know, Fleetwood Mac and especially U2, kind of it filled that void of that particular niche that people needed it. People needed it, you know. And at first, U2 was like, yeah, they had some, you know, socio-political messages. Mostly, it was about stuff that Americans really didn't understand, the troubles. I don't care if some old fart tried to teach it to me when I was a kid. No one gave a shit in America. No one really gave a fucking shit about Ireland, even if you were Irish. Even if you were Irish American, you'd be like, oh, fucking IRA. Like, you know, you'd be sleeping, man. I was like, I live in fucking Texas, bitch. I don't give a fuck about this. Really? See, here in America, the Protestants and the Catholics and the English and the Irish don't go to war against each other, so I don't give a fucking flying ass of a shit. So there you go. If I was really concerned about Catholics and Protestants and English and Irish people fighting and doing terrorism against each other, well, that would be a concern for me as a Texan. But since I'm a Texan and I'm an American, I don't have that kind of concern. But it was interesting music, you know, about social justice and love and war and peace and hate, and it was interesting shit. God and devil, and it was great shit. You know, it was great shit. You know, the Irish do have the knack of great art, great music. So yeah, I was really into U2. I remember, you know, Where the Streets Have No Name. We were out in the Texas woods, and I was thinking about Where the Streets Have No Name. And I would sing all the U2 songs, and the fucking edge guitar. It was fucking great. It sounded like water. You know, it was just the spiritual waterfall explosion. It just sounded amazing. And Bono's voice, you know, so much passion and the lyrics and everything, and the songs are really, you know, slapping, hitting. They're really popping, B. And so I thought about that. I was like, oh, we're in the woods. We're making up our own trails. And then I thought about, oh, yeah, Where the Streets Have No Name. I thought, like, we're trying to give names to places that are nameless. And I thought about, oh, that's an interesting concept. That there's places there's streets that are not built yet. And there's people not living there yet. And there's the streets that have no name. Wow, that blows me away. Is that from like Joshua Tree or something? So yeah, so I listened to War and Boy and Joshua Tree, and then, you know, Rattle and Hum, and I listened to the Eno produced Unforgettable Fire, and I was like, oh, this is fantastic. And then with my stepdad, who's more, you know, businessman, metropolitan kind of jet setter kind of dude. And then we started listening to Octune Baby, you know, Intention Baby. And we're like huge fans. So by the time I'm like, you know, 11 or 12, they're doing all this experimental shit, all this really cool shit. There's like the Zooropa, Zoo TV tour, and I buy that, you know, that cassette tape, Zooropa. You know, I'm jamming that all the time. I'm watching the MTV videos in the 1980s. I'm dancing to the videos. I'm vibing to the music. My parents are buying the albums and the cassettes and the CDs and everything. It's all going good. It's all going good. It's all good with U2, you know? Shit's slapping shit. You know, they're making bangers. Everything's... You might not understand the Irish politics, but who does? I mean, you have to study for a while to learn Irish politics, right? I mean, there's like, you gotta be watching a lot of historical videos on that. Probably the Irish people are probably the best experts on Irish politics. I mean, I'm not gonna learn about Irish politics from fucking Tom Clancy at Clear and Present Danger with Harrison Ford and Sean Bean and shit. You're not going to learn about Irish politics with Brad Pitt and Harrison Ford in The Devil's Own. You'll just be falling asleep. motherland, the Catholics versus Protestant. You know, most of the American audience is like, wait, yeah, is there a real conflict going on? Is there a real problem here? Like, please, this is just kind of BS, or it's just antiquated. You know, the troubles have been long over, so it's just antiquated. So it's kind of ridiculous. The world mostly is. When is this World War III coming? Something kind of interesting happening. Did a robot declare himself God yet? I'm still waiting. Or, well, I know NASA said that there's thousands of asteroids going to hit the Earth. Anybody got a real problem around here? Like a real problem? Okay. No disrespect to my Irish and British brethren who went through the troubles or from you know, our ancestry lines back there, but no disrespect, no disrespect, obviously. Yeah, let me go on. Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice $925,000. I just felt pretty lucky all day. So, huh? You were very lucky for me. Yeah, I'm hoping my luck can go into the night. I said I'm hoping my luck can go into the night too. I love you, Ron. You're the greatest. Oh, I picked all my own numbers. Yeah. What? Are you okay? Yeah. What happened? Your back hurting or? No, the knee I hurt a long time ago. Oh. Oh, it's acting up right now? No, I've been and jumped on the chair. I mean, sit down. Oh. It's not as flexible. Oh, okay. I mean, it bends, but it doesn't bend like my regular knee. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's tight. The muscles in my kneecap are tight. What? Yeah. When my knee bends, it's stiffer than the other one. Oh, no. Ooh. I'm sorry, Mom. Well, hopefully it'll feel better after a few. Love you. Back to the fizzle. Back to the bizzle. Yeah, so. Yeah, I like, you know, Patriot Games. It's a thrilling Irish terrorism movie, geopolitical thriller. Oh man, The Devil's Own. That sucked. Yeah, that really sucked, guys. Yeah. So, well. I still remember that in 1995 when I was in the art class. They had that girl, you know, a really pretty girl with the glasses. She was like Velma, a white Velma, not the ones where they're making her indent in black and all that bullshit. Like Linda Cardellini Velma, you know, hot Daria Velma, like the hot nerdy brunette. And she was like, "Did you hear that new U2 song? You know, from Batman Forever?" When I was 15 in high school, and she's like, "Hold me, kiss me, kill me, thrill me." I was like, "Oh my god!" But they didn't have the internet back then, you know, so I couldn't add her to my Facebook or anything. So if she left, but she left the next year, I didn't get her phone number, so it was fucking bummer because they didn't have, you know, instant. They had the internet email, but I didn't get her email address or anything, so I didn't catch her name. But she was like, "Did you hear that new U2 song? Hold me, kiss me, thrill me, kill me." So that's it. That's her. You know, I was kind of thinking in my head, but I thought I had more time. But I'm sure everybody thinks they have more time, right? Until you're on the Titanic, you got to get with Rose before it's too late, before the Titanic sinks. So. Then they made like an album, actors Zooropa, and the Batman, the single, the soundtrack, "Hold Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me, Thrill Me," and joink, 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 with the Edge, yeah. Joink, 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 joink. Oh, I even went on the even that summer. I went to Astroworld. I went to Batman: The Escape, where you have to stand up. You go on the roller coaster like upside down. But before they have the Batmobile and they have the Penguin and everything, it was like the most fucking Bat maniac fucking summer I think any teenagers ever had. I think probably that was the most commercial fucking Batman time I think that's probably ever gonna exist. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I can't say for sure. I mean, there might be I don't think there could be a more commercial Batman time than having a major soundtrack, a major motion picture, and a fucking theme park called Astroworld all at the same time. You know, Warner Brothers theme park all at the same time, having a Batman: The Escape ride. Yeah, it was incredible. Yeah. So I guess I would call the summer of 1995 the summer of Batmania. So then the U2 decided to experiment with, like most groups, maybe in the late 90s. They said, "Hey, we've been doing this rock and roll thing for a while, and this punk thing and this classic rock thing. Why don't we do a little disco, baby. A little disco, baby. Hey, let's, show some love for the disco and the dance and the electronic, and yeah, let's make an album of that." And hey guys, let's make a disco album. A disco. What? Hey guys, we usually do rock and roll, but you want to do a disco? Yeah, let's get into disco. That's a great idea. Let's go make an electronic disco. That sounds fucking tits. I love it. I can't wait to start working on it. Yeah. So U2 made Pop Mart, and it was kind of a flop mart. I listened to the record. I don't think it was terrible. I mean, I know what they're going for. They want some electronic disco or some kind of shit. But it kind of sucked. Donkey anus. And I don't think it was terrible, but it kind of sucked anus. I don't know. It kind of sucked, but it wasn't that bad. But it still kind of sucked donkey balls. Or donkey anus. Maybe it was like donkey balls hitting its anus. Like some hairy donkey balls hitting an anus. It was kind of like with a little juiciness to it. Little juiciness of the donkey balls. rest of the story of it is no, I mean, how do you do it? You know, yeah, you just feel it. You know, if it feels right, just kind of feel it. Like, ooh, I feel it. And not because you're bipolar and you're having, you know, insane mania and insane depressions and, you know, highs and lows that are like in some sort of, you know, mental disorder, emotional disorders. But you feel it. You feel the spirit. You know, you feel the inspiration. That's different. That's different than I think being mentally ill. You know, so yeah. I think if you get pumped about, you're getting psyched about stuff. You're like, woo! I think there's nothing wrong with that. That's good. You know, yeah. Let's do it, man. I saw it. You know, like when you got the inspiration, like, hey, that's, you know, maybe you've been lost for a long time. Maybe you've been, you know, kind of wandering around the dark forest of life, and you know, through COVID and the Biden inflation and the fucking whatever, the darkness. Maybe you're wandering around the forest of darkness alone, cold and scared for a long time. And then suddenly one day you're like, wow, I can see the light, I can see the tunnel. You know, I can see exactly, now I know exactly where to go. But maybe for a long time people have been cold and shivering and wandering through the dark desert like Jesus Christ in the Bible, you know, for a long time. Been scared, kind of upset. Yeah. Then one day you're in the deep, dark, dank, scary forest, and then you're like, "Oh, look! Oh, I see! Oh, I know it. I can see it now. I can't believe I didn't see that before." You know, silly me. How come I didn't understand that before? That's so easy now. And that's the note you want to hit. That Tasmanian devil note, when that's the one that's going to sell the Spotify records, going to sell the streams, going to sell the Spotify, going to sell the SoundCloud, going to sell the Apple Tunes, the iTunes. When you get that's the point where the people are going to, that's it. I finally, like, I finally understand this music. It's like, it kind of like Savage Belch. That's when your iTunes, your iCloud's gonna fucking just sell. When you're gonna be a zillionaire after that. So. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have any game, so I didn't know how to go up to Velma and say, Velma, when you said you liked you too, hold me, kiss me, kill me, thrill me, uh, I knew that you were the one. Because the way she said, hold me, kill me, kiss me, thrill me, or whatever, was it hold me? Wait. You ever see a young girl smile because she's happy about being alive? Yeah, I always remember that about high school. Most of the girls were smiling, happy about living, unless they were like stuck up bitches, or maybe some of the stuck up bitches were like really hot girls, but they were like mad because their parents weren't rich. Because where I come from, everybody, back in Klein, back in North Houston, they were usually pretty well off. And if you just moved in and you lived in an apartment, you weren't like, if your parents weren't making a lot of bank with great jobs, maybe there was a lot of resentment, a lot of class resentment, I think. That affected a lot of teenagers' lives. Not mine so much, but maybe just a little bit. But some of these banging hot babes that were living in apartments, and maybe they didn't have two parents. Maybe they were pretty pissed. So that's why they were coming to high school kind of pissed. They had an axe to grind, and that was the socioeconomic class axe that you can tell they're already grinding it. Because my school was like, you had like wealthy kids that would get a Lexus for their 16th birthday, and then you'd have a girl that wouldn't get shit for her 16th birthday. They get like a hand-me-down from like 1989. So you could already tell it was already like going down. So, yeah. At Klein High School in the mid to late 90s. Yeah. Yeah, Lee Pace went to Klein High School, graduated in 1996. I was there in 1995, 1996, 1997, 1998. Yeah, Lee Pace went there, the guy from Lord of the Rings and Foundation and Bodies. I don't remember seeing him ever. I never talked to him. So I don't remember walking by the cat with my backpack on. You know what I'm saying? So it was just that one night I was looking at famous Klein High School alumni. I was just curious one night, and I saw his name in there. I was like, "What? The guy from Guardians of the Galaxy and Lord of the Rings and shit? What the heck?" Well, too bad I was too busy doing partying to the Galaxy. When I think of bodies. Well, you got my attention with the 19-year-old girls. I'll tell you that. You already got my attention. You're like, oh, young 19-year-old girls. I'm like, that's an interesting movie that I should watch. So they already had and then the title was Bodies. And then that dude Pete was trying to have a career in comedy or trying to have a Hollywood career. Dude from Saturday Night Live. When that had Lee Pace in it, I don't know if that's why I watched it, because it had the Klein High School alumni in it. But I started watching it for multiple reasons, and then I watched it and I was like, Bodies. Was it good? It's like I don't know if it's really good. I don't even know if it has really a good message. It was kind of entertaining, not really though. Yeah. So the whole premise of the horror movie is don't judge other people. Don't judge a book by its cover, and don't let paranoia take over. I guess don't make decisions without proof. I guess that's the message of the horror movie, but I don't think it's necessarily delivered very well. It's like one of those like crappy, like postmodern horror movies. It's not very good. I did watch it. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. It might have been better if they would have had a party scene where all the girls were naked in the hot tub or something. Just going, ooh, and some tits flapping around or something. Didn't have enough of that, I suppose. There was not enough of the castle of 17 to 19-year-old women, the Castle Anthrax from Monty Python. There was not enough of the castle of the 17 to 19. The castle of the 17 to 19-year-old women. The Castle Anthrax. The castle of 17 to 19-year-old women. I saw that when I first saw that movie when I was 18, by the way. I still thought it was hilarious. Even more hilarious as you get older. So U-Turds. So they hadn't released an album. They had Songs of Innocence, songs of some shit that no one hardly remembers. I think there was a controversy about one of the YouTube drops because if you had an Apple iTunes, it dropped for free or something, but you had to listen to it or some shit like that. Like you had no choice but to listen to their shit on Apple iTunes or whatever. So it gave you their music for free, but you had to listen to it all, or some bullshit. And fans were really pissed off, or I'm sorry, people on the Apple were on the device were really ticked off. They got bombed by this YouTube album. A YouTube album. I'm gonna have to go back to watching U-Boobs. Yeah, they should have that for ladies. U-Boobs. U-Boobie channel. Yeah. U-Tits. U-Tits. There you go. U-Tits. I came up with a new business idea. It's like Uber instead of rideshare. Yeah, Boober. Yo, where's my check, dog? So, welcome to Booba. Pick your girl. No, they could never have Boober because there would be like too many creepy guys like ordering it, and then like there would be too many psychos doing it, and then they would like rape and like kill the girls and shit. So it'd be like a total disaster. Yeah, that's why they can never have Hooters, Hooter rideshare. Yeah, because there's too many psychos. There's too many weirdos. There's too many fucking psychos. There's too many creeps, in other words. And that's why your dad always said, that's why we can't have nice things, kids. So in 2001, U2 decided, after the failure of their gay-ass disco album, they decided to make a return to form album, the best they could, called All That You Can't Leave Behind. And it had a really big hit single called Beautiful Day that was very good. And, Elevation and some other things were okay. Stuck in a Moment You Can't get out of was a tribute to Michael Hutchence, the lead singer of NXS, who was doing a sexual asphyxiation thing. And now, usually when I'm having sex, I don't try to choke myself to death, but other people have other ideas about sex. So my idea of sex is sort of just, dinking around. It's just kind of licking and sucking and fucking. It's just kind of basic sex. It's not really. It's just the old in and out. It's just pretty like traditional view of sex, which is it's just playing. It's just fooling around. It's just dicking around and just getting your rocks off kind of thing. And so, but some rock stars' image of sex is like maybe more bondage, sexual asphyxiation, breath, drugs, and a lot of other things. And I think that's how Michael Hutchence went down, is that he went into this I don't know, some kind of sexual fetish fad went around where people were having sex depriving each other of oxygen, and obviously that so it's called sexual asphyxiation. Where you like, I don't know, can't breathe and then you have an orgasm, or I don't know what the fuck it is. I've never tried it. I'm not ever going to try it. And I don't give a I think it's pretty dangerous to deprive yourself of oxygen while you're having sex. So, I don't know. To each their own, but not my deal. So, anyways, he's dead. He's been dead for a long time. Michael Hutchence, the lead singer of NXS. One of my favorite groups, by the way, besides U2 in the 1980s on MTV and 1990s. So it was like U2 is back. And then in 2004, they come out with How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb. And a lot of rockers, they hate it. They think U2 is sold out. And it's I think it's, it's all right. And then, at the same time, late 90s, early 2000s, Chris Martin and Coldplay is hitting. So then U2 starts sounding kind of like Coldplay. Even though Coldplay is kind of ripping off U2, U2 starts sounding as lame as Coldplay. When originally they didn't sound that lame. They didn't sound that sellout. So then at some certain point, both bands sound like they sold out. And they sold their souls to Satan, and they both sucked ass. Then, 2009, the U2 tried to go back to the formula once again. They try to go back to the rock formula. They do No Line on the Horizon. Try to make a deep album. It's all right. It kind of tries to sound like old U2 albums. U2 albums. But it doesn't really. It's okay, though. 2009. So during this time, 2008 to 2016, Paul Hewson, Bono, The Edge, Adam Clayton, Larry Mullins Jr., but mostly Bono is going into political activism with Barack Hussein Obama and Joe Biden. And he's mostly and now, instead of being the punk rebel of music, the outlaw, he is becoming an automaton of the system. He's becoming a sellout to the system, which is, really bizarre. But I guess he didn't sell out. I guess U2 didn't sell out, right? I guess he didn't sell out. He bought in, son. Like SLC Punk. I didn't sell out. I bought in. Yeah. Well, U2 comes out of the Obama-Biden administration as like the biggest sellouts in the world, and of course the whole Trump derangement thing happens, and that's U-Turd. And then I guess about, what was it, 2017, 9 years ago or something, they make Songs of Innocence that they drop on iTunes and on Apple, whatever, and then people are pissed because the songs are fucking lame, and his Bono's voice is starting to crack like an old man, crack like an ancient egg, and it sounds like shit, and the songs are fucking lame. and it's lame. And then you think, well, U2 is done. They're really old and they're really fucking lame, and there's no coming back from this. You know, this is they can't be cool, they can't be hip, they can't be trendy, they can't be socially social justice social justice wise relevant until dun 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 yeah until the Democrats in Minnesota robbed the taxpayers of the U.S. taxpayers of the tune of $9 billion to under the Biden-Harris administration to defraud American citizens and Minnesotans of their taxpayer revenue, their hardworking taxes, that went to aid and abet Somalis, thousands of them, during the Biden-Harris administration, the disastrous Biden-Harris administration of the Democrat Party, which lasted, thankfully, only from 2020 to 2024, but destroyed the American middle class and decimated the American borders and left us vulnerable to multiple enemies around the world. So it drained and robbed from American workers and taxpayers, but it also left our borders. Joe Biden, the big Irish man. I'm such an Irish man. I'm the ultimate Irish man. And all the Irish are like, oh, it's Joe Biden, one of the most ultimate Irishmen ever. Oh, he must be. I thought Liam Neeson was the ultimate Irishman. I thought it was Pierce Brosnan. But what? There's somebody who's even more powerful Irishman than Bono himself? It's Joe Biden? My God, he must be the king, the emperor of the Irish. Jesus Biden Christ. Wow. I'm sure the Irish all feel that that's their emperor because that's how he was treated. Oh, wow. They really roll out the red carpet for this Biden guy. Is he? No, I know he's Irish and he has a mainly Irish family. Goes back a long way, sure. I'm not saying that's not true. But Joe Biden was treated like the Irish Messiah. Or something like, even more than Leprechaun with the rainbow and the pot of gold. The pot of gold. I mean, this guy was treated better than St. Patrick. I mean, this is astounding. This guy, the Irish Messiah? No. I mean, his family are descendants of Irish people, but so are a lot of other people. He was trying to pretend that he and his family were the ultimate Irish diaspora, the ultimate Irishmen, the ultimate Irish people. Did American people buy it? Did Irish people buy it? Maybe some did, but most of us know that he's not the ultimate Irish family or the ultimate Irish man. So fuck Joe Biden, as the old saying goes. Hey, yeah, I'm going to go get the brewski. Yeah. The brewski. All right, I love you. I'll be back. Yeah, I will, Mom. Love you. Yeah. I think Miss Tula might be back. Tula's back with the spunkiness. I hope she's not sick anymore. Man, they left their Christmas lights up till March, dog. That's dope. They should leave it up until May. Cinco de Christmaso. Cinco de Navidad. Fuck it, who cares? Leave it up all year, fool. Well, at least they won't have to take it down at Christmas. Just keep on going, bro. That's dope. Leave that shit up all year if you can afford it. Fuck it. There's no law about celebrating Christmas all year. So, as long as you can pay the electric bill. Yeah. We're heading to the convenient. Yeah. Is this where I saw what Joe Biden did? Yeah, it's where I saw on the sign. I was walking to the convenience and I saw $4.15 a gallon gas. I was like, holy fuck, what kind of fucking leadership are we under? Definitely a leadership that doesn't give a fuck about American people, for sure. That definitely was the case. Doesn't give a fuck if Americans are sick or impoverished. As long as they get their cut and they have multi-million-dollar mansions, Obama and Joe Biden, they don't give a shit who's fucking suffering down here in the real world. Don't give a flying motherfuck. As long as Mark Zuckerberg's on his Hawaiian compound island. That's why Mark Zuckerberg is really scared of leaving his Hawaiian compound, because there might be some people that want to kill him and snipe him. And so that's why he's really scared to leave that place. Hey, how's it going? Cool jacket. Huh. Oh. Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Have a great night, sir. Let's see. Oh, did they not pay the rent? Oh, they didn't pay the rent. Victor Egbalufu. Oh, the dude from Nigeria. They didn't pay the rent. No. Did he go back to Nigeria? Maybe he was deported. Maybe he wasn't even legal. Maybe he was let in under the Biden administration. And then no, I'm just making shit up. I'm just joking. No, he just didn't have enough money to pay it. I bet the rent for an old 1950s. I bet the rent's like thousands of dollars per month. Oh, is this Catholic? There you go. That's Houston Catholic. And here's Curves, where the fat ladies are at. And somehow they got a little music academy over here. I don't know. Anyways. Curves for women of shape. I like that. Yeah. Curves for women. Oh, it's not curves for men though. Oh yeah, that's true. It's curves for women. Oh, it's like weight loss. So what, they just go exercising a lot or what? Or they just like practice not eating a lot? They practice not eating double cheeseburgers? So what's going on here? So, yeah, so. A lot of people going on the left side. Yeah. That was a big left turn for this time of night. That was a lot. Yeah. It's not like I live in like the center of Houston or something. That was a lot of traffic, dog. I mean, for this time of night, for this kind of situation. Yeah. Damn. So everybody love that U-Turds? The Days of Ass or whatever? Yeah, I listened to the 5 off the EP. I was like, yeah, it's fucking lame. It's not good. It's got like thousands of views. It doesn't even have millions of views. If it does get like into millions, it'll probably just be 1 million. That would probably just be like either Irish people or Catholics or like Joe Biden, Kamala Harris voters or something. Liberal global world order supporters. That's it. Everybody else is going to be like, oh, no thanks. Okay. We back. Okay, I'm back. Oh, sorry, too, lady. Oh, I'm sorry, too, baby. I'm back, babe. The love wound. Woo. Woo. Okay. Yeah. I feel that. I gotta take a, well. You know, my family's really broke when we no longer have Nikes, new Nikes, and when we have Reeboks and Adidas. That means we're like, the family's going into poverty. But if you see an occasional me wearing some Nikes, you know the family's got some bread still. Yeah. Bringing home that bacon, baby. Ow! It's a good one. Hey. Taking it down. Taking the shit. Taking it down. Taking it down. Taking the shit. Would that be a #1 track on Spotify? Taking it down. Taking it down. Taking the shit. If I worked on it a little bit more. That's just the initial melody. Taking it down, taking it down, taking the shit, taking it down from your anus. Ooh, ooh. Ah, taking it down, taking it down. Oh, taking it down, taking it down. Okay, but here's the part that's gonna get it. From your anus. Taking it down from your butthole. Ooh. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's like a good part on it. That's not. Oh. All right. Back from the food service store right there. We're back from. Oh. Wash your hands. Do the hygienics, don't? Hygienics, don't. Hygienics. After you take a dump, wash your hands. Especially when you work at Burger King. It's a good one, Nick. Okay, especially when you work at Burger King. Ooh. Okay. Feel it, dog. Okay, I'm coming. Oh, shoot, lady, you feeling better, honey? Oh, I'll see how you were, honey. Just don't touch the back end. Okay, don't touch your butt because you might bite me. Just bite us. Okay, it's wrong. Okay, I'm not gonna touch your butt. Okay. I'm not gonna touch your butt. yeah. You want me to take this one? Or? Okay.
But if it was cancerous, you know it would do it.
Oh, yeah.
What year was that?
What, 23? Or what? Yeah. That was a while back, boo.
Another giant benign growing tumor.
It's not a tumor. I'll be back.
What is it about the tumor?
It's not a tumor.
It is a tumor.
Put that cookie down. You're not sending me to the cooler. Get your ass to Mars.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, I love you.
I love you too.
Thanks.
Get your ass to Mars. If it bleeds, we can kill it. You're not sending me to the cooler. Put that cookie down. What's the best part? Stick around. I think it's funny when he has the knife and he sticks the knife in the guy's neck and he goes, stick around. And Commando, I think that was like one of the funniest ones. But I mean, I know that's a quick one, but I thought that was one of my favorites. Stick around, and then he like sticks the knife in the guy's neck. But well, I mean, I love Batman and Robin. You know, you're not sending me to the cooler. Chill. The Iceman Comet. Yeah, you, or maybe from Predator, maybe you like this one. You are one ugly motherfucker. Or does he say motherfucker? Like, does he say it like Alan Rickman? With the Austrian. Like, you are one ugly motherfucker. That's great. Oh. Shane Black. How do I feel about Shane Black, the screenwriter? Well, man, he made some entertaining shit, so I can't talk shit about Shane Black. I mean, maybe I don't like... I mean, I thought Predators was a little funny. You know, that Predators and the Predator and all that. It was a little bit funny. It was just kind of like, I don't know. What's the matter, Dylan? Got you pushing too many pencils? What are you, some kind of girly man? Yeah, that was hilarious. Oh, yeah. Well, Girly Man, that was from Dana Carvey in the skit that they did. We are Hans and Franz, and we are here to pump you up. And, well, I mean, it was kind of weird. Like the 1980s, health fitness craze was all about aerobics. Cardio aerobics was not, and it's not bad. But it was a lot about bodybuilding, too, like getting jacked for guys. So it was kind of a weird mix of gladiator and cardio. Yeah, kind of strange. But most diet fads are strange. Not really kind of a faddish kind of guy. Yeah, I've seen lots of diet fads throughout American history so far in the almost 50 years I've lived. And so far, knock on wood. But they've had a lot of ridiculous diet fads, And I don't think TikTok trends, and I don't think they're really any superior to just basic logic. Of course, I'm breaking the one rule right now, smoking. So there you go. So I'm breaking the one rule. So No Line on the Horizon was all right. Songs of Innocence. Yeah, that was the album, right? Was it Songs of Innocence that was dropped on the Apple iTunes and people were pissed? Wait, Songs of Innocence, They started to make albums that had the same name. Songs of this, songs of that. Songs of ding dongs. I don't know. It was just kind of like, what? What are you doing? Songs of innocence, songs of King Kong and songs of Donkey Kong and songs of. So U2's last record was in 2017, I believe. Yeah, we had Hurricane Harvey here in Houston, Texas, where the entire city went underwater. Yeah, that was fun. It's really cool when your entire city goes underwater. Ask New Orleans from 2005, Hurricane Katrina. But we got to experience our little Katrina, except without, total annihilation. But Hurricane Harvey. Yeah, that was a monster. Monster storm. Our apartment was like, my apartment in 2017 was like 3 stories up. And you just look down below and just see. See the flooding. Yeah, scary stuff. Then U2 decides to release their record on Ash Wednesday. Their EP. And so I listened to the songs, 5 songs. And it's kind of like, through production and through much effort, Bono was trying to sound like he was a younger man, gallantly. And it does sound like, production-wise, it does sound like he's trying to sound like a younger man. It does seem a lot cleaner than the songs of Innocence and the songs of whatever the last one was. Songs of Hong Kong. The weird thing about Bono as a singer, it's not that every singer's voice gets old and sounds raspy and sounds weak as people age, as it does, but it doesn't sound as good as it used to. Yeah, it doesn't sound as. Doesn't sound as powerful. The song seems a lot weaker. And it's not like. It's not that the instrumentation or anything's at fault. It just sounds a lot weaker. It just doesn't sound like there's no poignant song. I think because since Bono and U2 sold their soul to Joe Biden or whatever, it just doesn't sound the same that he sold his soul to Mark Carney and the liberal global world order. It just seemed, when it was a working class band, it sounded like it really spoke to the heart of the working class, or the working people, or the regular human beings. It seemed like it spoke to normal, people. And now it just seemed on a particular political, but in the wrong way. So when U2 was singing about the Irish Troubles, it seemed like, valid. And then now when it's singing about Minneapolis or Renee Good, it doesn't seem valid. The liberals always say mother of three shot. Yeah, mother of three. This is what ABC Disney. This is what ABC Disney, CBS, NBC. The mother of three, Renee Good. That's what they keep saying that over and over again. The mother of three, Renee Nicole Good. And it just doesn't seem, well, if she was a mother of three, a lot of Americans would have sympathy for her if she wasn't harassing federal agents in Minnesota, Minneapolis. If she was, taking care of her children and somehow some bullets flew and killed her, in an ICE raid or something like that. I think that most Americans would identify with that and be, they say, oh my God, that's a total tragedy. Well, that's not what happened. She left her 3 children behind with her lesbian lover, the lesbian that was trying to pretend to be a guy. And they were actively encroaching on ICE raids to remove illegal aliens and child molesters and filth from the streets. And she obstructed the roads against the ICE agents. And she also tried to accelerate her vehicle on an ICE agent. She thought she was going to get away with it because she got shot. Because in America, I don't know how it's like in Ireland or England or Scotland or France or Sweden. I don't know how it's like in Europe, but if there's a federal agent and I try to obstruct their way with a car and I try to run over an agent or shoot an agent or fight an agent and I'm armed with a weapon, then I can be shot and there's nothing they can do about it because I'm obstructing a member of law enforcement, a federal agent of the United States of America. So well, she could have protested ICE with a sign, and they could have not blocked the roads to impede the ICE agents, the federal agents. They could have not doxed the ICE agents. They could have done something else that's a lot more nonviolent, non-confrontational. But these people were actively causing confrontations, Minneapolis, Minnesota, against federal agents and ICE agents. And so if I block the road of federal agents, what do I expect is going to happen to me? Well, logically, probably I'm going to be in harm's way because I'm obstructing law enforcement from doing their job. That's probably not going to end up well for me or anybody else. No matter if I'm a Obama or Biden supporter or I'm a Trump supporter or an independent, obstructing federal agents is probably not a good idea. Whatever your stripe or political beliefs, it's probably not going to end well, logically, So she's dead because her and her husband or girlfriend or whatever you want to call it were blocking the roads, ICE agents. And then Renee Nicole Good tried to accelerate her vehicle. You can see it on tape. She accelerated her vehicle upon the agent, and then he responded in kind. He shot her to death. So there can be arguments on, is there excessive force, police brutality in law enforcement? But at the end of the day, the basic code of law enforcement in the United States, or most other places in the world, are if the agent of the government or the police officer feels that his or her life is threatened, that they can shoot you, they can eliminate you. And that's just the basic law. People can argue whether that's correct or not. But the officer is not going to jail. He's not going to be prosecuted. He might be relieved of duty or sent on early retirement. but he's not going to spend time in federal prison for defending himself against a anti-ICE agitator. So you too, or whoever else that's part of the liberal global world order, can paint their narrative any way they want. That she was just an innocent mother of three. An innocent mother of three with her lesbian husband obstructing ICE officers and accelerating her vehicle on, there's many ways you can hurt people. You can hurt people through a car. You don't necessarily have to be armed. So you can run over people, right, that are just pedestrians or walking around, obviously. So that also can be a weapon. Vehicular manslaughter, vehicular attack. And so it's a sad, unfortunate situation. I don't think the Democrats are going to I don't think the liberal global world order, I don't think Keir Starmer or Mark Carney are going to benefit from this. I don't think Tim Walz, Jacob Fry, Ilhan Omar, Barack Hussein Obama, I don't think any of them, AOC, any Democrat's going to benefit from this. Abigail Spanberger. Yeah, I heard Abigail Spanberger, the governor of Virginia, is going to try to do a protest State of the Union against Donald Trump on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. Right, so good luck with that. I don't know how many ratings it's going to get. Is the new U2 album gonna make a lot of money? It might be for Biden voters or Kamala Harris voters. I don't think that the 78 million people who voted for Donald Trump are gonna buy the new U2 record and be spent the mother of three. I don't think they're gonna be singing it. I don't think they're gonna be buying it. I think they're gonna know what it is. A bunch of political bullshit, liberal, globalist propaganda, elitist bullcrap. Now, most people that have been U2 fans their whole life, whether they're Irish or not, or whatever, or Irish diaspora through ancestry or however, they're probably thinking the same thing that every music fan and every American and everybody that's ever bought a U2 record is probably thinking, or ever danced to a U2 song or ever jammed out U2 on the radio. They're probably thinking the same thing. How did these rebels of Irish rock and roll music sell out to the system? How in the hell did one of our favorite groups become so lame, even lamer than Coldplay, which is a high bar or it's a low bar to aspire to get as lame as fucking as commercial and as bullcrap as Coldplay, and even worse. And how did they become so out of touch with the working men and women of the world? And how did they lose touch with those of us in Western civilization? How did that occur? They go from the punks and the rebels in the late 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, the experimental, beautiful band that we all loved, and we would go see all the shows, and we would go see the movies, and we would go see Rattle and Hum, and we would go see U2 360, and we'd buy it all. We'd do it all. How did these people become deranged anti-Trumpers? That's the question I think most former U2 fans have to ask. Now, most of us will just say, you know what, they used to be great, they just kind of suck, they're just kind of inserting themselves into current politics and because they ran out of ideas. So they don't sing songs about love and peace anymore. They're singing songs that are just anti-Trump and pro Renee Good and Alex Pretty. They're not singing songs for the common men and women anymore, the common workers, the common believers, the common churchgoers, the common Catholics, the common Americans, the common Western people They're not singing songs for the regular European people, the working class. They're not singing songs for the downtrodden and the weak. They're singing just a voice box that is only for the elite, for the wealthiest among us. How did that happen? Well, maybe it was because we bought all their records and we went to all their shows over the years, and they had become so elite that they had become out of touch with the original fans and the people that brought them to prominence and great wealth and fortune. And they have totally fucking forgotten who they are, who we are, and what they were. That's probably what happened, sadly. Days of Ash is days of ass. It sucks. I'm not saying some of the production doesn't sound cool. I'm not saying some of the effects don't sound cool. I'm not saying some of the lyrics sound cool. I'm not saying that it is total shit. But it is not. As a YouTube fan from long ago, we all expected that there would be something better than that. Better than some sellout, Renee Good, Minneapolis, Minneapolis, caca. In the song, Bono and U2 ask Americans to change, as if Americans are not asking Europe and Ireland and UK to change. No, we're not. We here in America are not asking Americans to change. We're asking Western civilization. We're asking Europe to change. We're asking Scotland and Ireland and the UK and France and Italy. We're asking Europe to change. Germany. We're asking Europe to change. It's not the other way around. You know? So, I know. Even our ancestors can't change us. Even us that are descendants from Europe. You can't change us. You can't stop us. You can't control us. You're not that powerful. All right. So, no disrespect to my Irish and English heritage, but you trying to tell Americans what to believe and what to think and what to do, Americans are just going to tell people from Ireland and Scotland and England and Europe to kiss our ass, as we have for many centuries, almost 250 this year. So, how many times have the American people told Europe to kiss our ass? I mean, you haven't changed. You haven't fucking learned. You keep doing the same damn thing. You keep letting invaders from other lands invade your land, and you keep letting Russia invade your land, and you never fucking learn what it is. How could all these centuries pass and Europe doesn't know not to let alien invaders invade their lands, and number two, not let Russia beat down war drums on their doorstep? How, after all this time, Europe, after bloody wars after bloody war, still haven't figured this out after many centuries? How could this occur? Now, America knows we're not going to let enemies at our doorsteps. America knows we're not going to let Russia conquer us. America knows that we're not going to let foreign invaders and terrorists and fucking Russians invade America. We know that. Somehow, our cousins across the pond in Europe still haven't figured this fundamental principle of Western civilization, which is to not let your enemies invade you and conquer your lands. How come? How come they haven't learned? I thought they were supposed to be superior to us. I thought they were supposed to be our fathers, our grandfathers. I thought they were supposed to be our leaders. from the old. I thought the old world was supposed to lead us, not the other way around. So who has more culture now? And now Europe is going to rip itself apart over its culture wars. America's not going to rip itself apart because America has strong principles and strong guiding principles of God, the Constitution, faith, liberty, and justice for all. So, why is Europe no better than it was in World War I or World War II? Why? As it is not learned. It has never grown. It has never evolved. It's still in the same predicament as it was in our great-great-grandfather's time. Why? Why has it never learned to fight for its fucking identity and for its language, for its culture, for its freedom? Why? Why? Why does America always fight for its culture and its freedom, and Europe never seems to get the lesson? Why? It should have learned that 100 years ago. It still doesn't learn. Why doesn't it learn? Why doesn't it grow? Why doesn't it evolve? Why are Russians invading Europe? Why are Europe's invading Russians? Why is it no better than the Napoleonic Wars of the 1800s, 19th century? Why hasn't it learned? It just hasn't for some reason. Why are they still doing the same wars over and over again, century after century? It's pathetic. There's no knowledge curve for it. There's no personal growth. There's no evolution. It's still like we're stuck in this fucking loop that we can't escape as humanity. It's like, why? The European Union and NATO were supposed to put an end to Russian aggression. And now it's on your doorsteps with the war drums beating once again. Now they're at your doorsteps, now that they're at our doorsteps. Now this is because Vladimir Putin is an old KGB Soviet Union thug. He's getting old though. One day they're going to find the cancer on his asshole and he's going to collapse. But he keeps trying to continue because he has more powerful, he has more power and money than Elon Musk. Because he is a communist authoritarian dictator that takes all the resources and money and feeds it to himself. He doesn't care how many people die. He doesn't care how many people live as long as he is personally powerful and rich. He does not care about Europe. He does not care about Russian people as long as he is important. That's his only care in the world. Do we have to wait for this old fart from this ancient generation to die before we have peace? This old fart's gonna die, just like Xi Jinping. These old farts in their 70s, they're gonna shit their ass. You know, their past will die with them, and the future will be born when they pass on to the next generations. Sure, they could try to, if Vladimir Putin isn't going to live forever, so he's gonna give it to Medvedev, who's like 60. He's still a baby boomer, but he's going to get old, and he's going to try to pass it down. He's going to try to keep this Soviet thuggery going around, but eventually they're not going to be able to handle it. They can't handle it. The Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. I don't care how many nuclear weapons they have. How many of those nuclear weapons even work? How long can the Kremlin pretend that they're an actual world power that can threaten Western civilization? They won't be able to do it ad infinitum, forever. So what are they going to do? What are they going to do? What are they going to do? The old world cannot continue forever. A new world is rising, and it doesn't involve them. Much to their chagrin, the Soviet Union, the communists, the socialists will not survive this next order. This next world will not be friendly to them. It'll be a rise of the people, the rise of freedom, the rise of liberty. And a lot of corporate and government systems will not be prepared for this coming great revolution of the people. A real revolution, not a fake one. A real one. A real one like 1776, which is going to come just like 2026. And the people will get to decide their world and their freedoms and their liberties. Yeah. So did I gamble my whole life that the Islamic Republic of Iran would fall? Well, as I said before, the entire U.S. naval armada didn't assemble in the Gulf of Oman, the Persian Gulf, around Iran because they're coming to say hi. You know, usually, if the entire SWAT team and the entire military has just surrounded your house, usually they're not just coming to say hello, right? So, I mean, obviously, if I see like the entire SWAT team and entire, police surrounding a house in my neighborhood, I don't think, oh yeah, they just want to talk with the guy. That's not what I'm thinking. So likewise, the logic is Donald Trump, the commander-in-chief of the United States military, is not sending all naval and air forces, the USS Gerald Ford and the USS Abraham Lincoln, because he wants to talk and negotiate with the Islamic Republic of Iran. And so they're not just coming to chat. They're coming to kick motherfuckers' ass. That's what's going to happen. So I guess the only thing that could go wrong, now here's the best case scenario, is that, okay, no one can really trust the Islamic Iranian regime. They say, oh, we're not going to build nuclear weapons. We're not going to attack we're not going to attack Israel. And you know what? They're fucking lying. So what do you do about that? Once people show you who they are, what are you going to do? Because you have to face reality, right? Like at some point, look, if somebody's been screwing you over your whole life, they've been taking more than you have, if they've been stabbing you in the neck your whole life and you survived it, eventually you're going to have to say, you know what? I think I need to take this motherfucker out because this person isn't representing what I represent. So the United States has to say in Western civilization, like, this country isn't representing us, what we want, so we have to take them out because they have stabbed us and attacked us so many times that they have to die. It's just inevitable. And so Maya Angelou once said famously, once people show you who they are, believe them the first time. I think what happens is there's a girl that's in a marriage and the guy's like, oh, I won't cheat again, honey. And he goes out and he cheats on her. And then she's pissed and she gets angry. And then he goes, oh, you know what? I won't cheat on you again, honey. And then she learns that her husband is cheating on her again. And then, eventually she has to leave. She has to get a divorce. She has to make a change because the other party isn't changing. It's still doing the same fucking thing. There is no change. That's Iran from 1979, the Islamic Republic of Iran. They have perpetually tried to get nuclear weapons, allied with U.S. adversaries, the Russian Federation and the Chinese Communist Party. They have repeatedly attacked American soldiers with terrorist proxies. They're about to go, folks. Look, am I going to be surprised when Khomeini and all them are fucking... Maybe Trump will think it's funny to do something humiliating. He might think it's funny to send in Rainbow Division and SEAL Team 6 and just fucking kidnap Khomeini, his old ass in his wheelchair. It might be funny, like, hey, here's the Islamic Republic guy, and look, he's captured, and he's in chains and stuff, and he's chained to the wall. That might be that might be what he's doing to try to cause a great humiliation. The fact is that the Iranian Islamic Republic have killed, apparently, at the low estimate, 5,000 protesters for freedom. And they have killed at the maximum tabloid 30,000 Iranian people. How long can this shit continue, folks? How long can a government kill its people, whether it's China, whether it's the Russian Federation, whether it's North Korea or Iran? How long will the world tolerate it? How many people will die and the world's going to tolerate it? How many? How many is enough? How many? How many Khomeini? Ayatollah Khomeini? How many Ayatollah Khomeini? Before the hammer fucking falls. How many is enough? Well, I think all those carrier groups, the gigantic naval armada, with the F-16s, F-35s, F-18s, I think that is a statement of Western civilization, that there is a red line that will be crossed, that has been crossed. If the Iranian government has killed in atrocities 30,000 of its own people, just because some women wanted to wear their hair out, the world is going to be fucking pissed. There will be blood for that. So do I expect the Iranian Islamic Republic to celebrate its 40th birthday? I don't expect it to last to Washington's birthday, to be honest. I don't expect it to last the few days that it has left. It's going to get destroyed. It's going to fall. And once America totally decimates the military, IGRC, and the mullahs, and the shahs of Iran, the Ayatollah, it's over. And the Iranians and the Persians reclaim their lands as they should. The Prince of Persia will rise again. And Iranian Americans will come to prominence again. No longer in the shadow of their former lives. They will come to greatness as Xerxes did in the Great 300. They will rise to a great ancient power like you haven't seen in millenniums. And now some may ask, why should Westerns celebrate the rise of Persia? Because it's no longer controlled by Russia, China, or anti-Western. Because so many people that fled the Iranian Revolution are here in the United States. So many of those, of the ancient clans, so many Persians and Iranians, Americans are here in the United States for multiple generations. They're just waiting for this day of freedom and liberation, where they could speak their language and their people, and where they could unite their people as one. They're so excited about this. This is liberation of a people in chains. People are trying to speak out, protesters. They get killed by the thousands. It's worth it. War is usually damaging and not worth it at all. But in this case, defeating evil and tyranny, like the Nazis in World War II, it's worth it. Because people get to be free. and speak their language and live as they should, as God wanted them to be. God wanted people to be free and have liberty and speak their language and have their culture. That's what God wanted. It's true. And let me know. Oh, what's crazy going on? I said it was small. I don't know. Is it good? Yeah. Well, well, boy, you want a little cup? I guess you'll have a rainforest. You think Obama said aliens to get attention because he's 65? Oh, boy.
He's a Democrat and he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right.
And Trump has said he wants all alien whatever crap released from the government that's classified.
Obama said that?
No,
Oh, Trump said that.
after Obama, Obama's like, yes, I think there. He's like, yeah, I think there are aliens. And then Trump's like, well, let's release all the shit.
Oh, God.
And
Yeah.
also, I feel so sorry for Prince Andrew. They're trying to make him the scapegoat with the Epstein files.
Oh, right. Not Bill Gates or Bill Clinton. They're trying to make Prince Andrew the scapegoat.
Yeah,
Right. I know. He's the fall guy.
He's
He's the patsy. I know that.
They're trying to just
Yeah,
ruin
I know,
his whole life.
I know.
And they have, pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's lots of pictures with him with young ladies.
No, I think there's only one.
No, there's like 2 or 3.
Oh, there were,
In
where
the
he had
files.
his arm around him. But,
Or he's like, I don't know.
well, he had his arm around him.
Yeah, yeah.
He might
I know
be-
he's the fall guy. I know he's the patsy.
He's the fall guy.
He's the fall. I know. For Bill Clinton and Bill
Him
Gates.
and his ex-wife.
I know.
What's her name?
Sarah Ferguson. Fergie.
Yeah, Fergie and their daughters were removed from the main manor. And then he moves last week.
Yeah.
And probably his ex-wife.
Yeah.
And that, I'm sorry.
They're trying to make him the example. They're crucifying him. Yep,
well,
that's what
but
they're
also,
doing.
like
Yep.
Fergie and him divorced years ago.
Yeah.
But guess what? He let her live with him, and they had titles, and so their daughters could live too.
Yeah.
And they lived as a family.
Yeah. Yeah. Prince Andrew's getting crucified for that.
I think
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's an angel.
Oh yeah.
But I don't see how Clinton,
Bill Gates,
and Trump, were clean.
Yeah.
I mean.
But I don't think Trump's a pedophile, though.
Oh, no. Oh, no. No, I know Trump. No. He met.
He doesn't even drink liquor.
No, I know. He doesn't even drink.
Yeah.
He met Melania.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When he was around, probably what's his name and what's her name.
Oh, yeah.
Were at a party of his.
Yeah.
And the worst they said was he was like, oh man, she's hot.
Oh, yeah. That's it, yeah. Down, get my beer. Yeah, some people said that Donald Trump was in the Epstein files. What was it? Somebody wrote like 1 million times? 1 million times. So, hold on. Let's do the math here. Sorry, we're back to logic school. Yeah. I know it sucks. Emotion school is so much more fun. Because emotion school is like, you don't have to have facts. Emotion school is emotional. So there's 3 million Epstein files. Somebody wrote on my channel, there's 1 million mentions of Donald Trump in the Epstein files. So how would that work out logically if you're reading Epstein files, right? So it's like, 1 million out of 3 million. So that would have to be what? Mathematically speaking, at least 1.50%. Something. Okay. 1.50 plus 1.50 is 3. So it'd have to be. So there'd have to be. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. They also said him being arrested was the first time in 400 years of monarchy. That's
yeah. Oh no. Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bella wanted down and I gave her water.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, and 2 days of sleep.
So what most people are talking about is Prince Andrew, a fall guy.
You want to go see somebody?
No.
She wants to go see.
Oh, Bella wants to see me.
Yeah.
Bella, love you. Okay, we'll let her in here for a while.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Bella boo. With the love wound.
She can't
Okay.
stand it.
Oh.
He's such a baby.
Boo. Okay, so this is Bella boo.
Oh.
15-year-old Shih Tzu.
You'll put her in bed.
Yeah, well.
She misses her Scott dog.
I miss my love, man. Well, I call her Angel Lee.
Until a little bit spunky, but she's down for the count right now.
Oh, okay. What? But her fever's gone, right?
Well, she's laying down.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna put Bad Book back in bed, y'all.
Okay.
Back in bed. Okay. Love you, honey. Bye. So, emotion is a lot more attractive than logic, right? So, somebody said there's 1 million files of Donald Trump in it, in the Epstein files, and there's 3 million file release. So, what percentage? This is like you're in algebra class, you're in math class again. What percentage, if you had 3 million files, would a person have to be in it at 1 million? Would it be 1.5 million? Would it be about half? I'm sorry, it would have to be about... I'm not the world's greatest mathematician, you know? But it have to be, would it be 70, 80%? All right, let's do the math on what... Okay. Let's do the math on what Trump and Obama are talking about. All right. Obama says there's aliens, but I haven't seen them. Okay. All right. So according to the data that's given to us by Google, Alphabet, and ChatGPT and the AIs, all right, there's 2 trillion galaxies in the known observable universe. The Milky Way galaxy that we're a part of is just one. Okay. And there's trillions of suns, billions of planets. What's the likelihood that there'd be life on any of those? All right, for religious people, Catholics, Christians, Jews, Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists. All right, so do the math. What's the likelihood that God would just make intelligent life and life on one planet and not on others? What would be the likelihood of that? Really low percentage. Almost 0% that would actually ever happen. Now, Barack Hussein Obama, the left's Lord and Savior, said, all right, the left's Messiah said that, well, you know, the distance between galaxies is too vast for any life form to actually beat it. Yeah, you're supposed to believe that shit. Yeah, really? Things can't be beaten? Things can't be overcome? Really? So no one's ever invented electricity. No one's ever invented a nuclear bomb. No one's ever been to the moon. Highly unlikely. And they keep telling us, oh, you can't create fusion. They say you can't go faster than light, or you can't create warp drive. You can't do this, you can't do that, because it's impossible. Because it breaks the laws of physics, because the laws of physics are absolute, and no one can break them. Things can't be broken. Sounds kind of silly, you know what I mean? Okay, let's say you're an astrophysicist. Let's say there's rules that can't be broken, and they're only dreamed of, they're only fantasies. You can't break them. And there's no God, and there's no beings that never, from any kind of realm that have never broken the rules, never done it. Well, that's a bullshit story. What I'm hearing is that people can't do it. Yeah. And people probably didn't believe that they could cross the ocean at one time. People probably thought they couldn't split the atom at one time. Rules were meant to be broken. There's always a solution to a problem, whatever the problem may be. So, no matter how intense the problem, it's not that mankind would have solved it, but there are 2 trillion galaxies in the universe where there's beings that could have solved those problems, and extra dimensions, parallel universes. There's places where those problems don't exist. And so that's very clever. It's very clever. Oh, man just can't do it. Man can't think of stuff. Man can't build fire. He can't split the atom. Man can't control the weather. You know, we're told for years, men can't control the weather. That's God's business. Can men control weather or manipulate weather? Could men manipulate systems and science? Well, I think it's possible, so Arthur C. Clarke once had a show where he broke down what was feasible, what was possible. And he said, you know what, aliens is at the high top of that list. Now, maybe they can't do warp drive, maybe they can't travel between solar systems, maybe they can't cross their galaxy or other galaxies. Maybe that's true. Maybe they destroy themselves before that's possible. But they're bullshitting us. They really are. At the end of the day. If you believe in God, you believe in a God that's immortal and doesn't have any limitations. So people that follow different faiths believe in gods that have no limitations. They can walk on water. They can make food out of... they can turn a destitute sea into rivers of fish, seas of fish. So why is that acceptable? So it's supposedly technically impossible for fusion power for man to create fusion energy. Is it really? Is it really impossible? Well, so there are some problems that people can't solve? Oh, really? Interesting. And we hear all the time the problems that mankind can't solve. They can't cure cancer? Really? They can't cure cancer? Well, they have at least decades or maybe centuries of ideas about cancer. They can't solve that. Oh, really? Good one. So, yeah, but there's not an underground base in Nevada, Groom Lake, Area 51, where they keep aliens and spacecraft from different alien species and star systems. Really? Well, I guess we'll just have to take your word for it. They used to have this show I used to watch when I was a kid with LeVar Burton. It's called Reading Rainbow. And it would say, don't take my word for it. I will give Barack Hussein Obama this. Man, he's a slick lawyer. And he's really good at public speech. One of the best. So I respect Barack Hussein Obama for that. Is that he's really good at public speaking. He's a master of it, really. I don't know, this is lawyer years or he's just naturally gifted at it. But man, Barack Hussein Obama is fucking gifted at public speech. There is no doubt. Otherwise, how could the Democrats reign for that long? Reign from 2008 to 2016 without Barack Hussein Obama. I mean, they couldn't. They couldn't have lasted that long without a really erudite, a really clever leader like him. So, I'll give him this. He's really good at public speaking. He's really good at oratory. I don't know if he, learned that being going to Harvard or Yale or wherever he went to his lawyer days. But man, he's a really gifted guy in terms of like the public speaking arena. And so I give him that. He's really good at his oration, But I guess that's why the Democrats have such a big problem. They keep trying to fill this Obama hole, and there's not a really great speaker on their side that can intelligently speak. They just have to deal with Kamala, fucking drunk and fucking high off her ass. They're not really able to convey something of any meaning or any portents. And so that's why the Democrat Party has suffered, since the end of Obama in 2016, when President Donald Trump, defeated Hillary Clinton. And they've been struggling on since then. They're not able to find a leader that could speak well and eloquently enough and calmly enough to explain their viewpoints for them to win. They just haven't found a leader like that. They've always been looking for Obama 2.0. They can't find a guy that's really that gifted at being cool and laying it down like that. I'm not a Barack Hussein Obama fan, but I recognize his oration talents, which are quite high, quite advanced in politics. So, are there aliens? Well, I live on one planet in one time, in one state, in one city. I don't know. I'm just a lowly earthling. At the end of the day, I got to take a shit like everybody else. And, you need certain things to be a human being. You need certain things to be alive. You need certain medications. You need certain friends. You need certain family. You need certain jobs. You need certain access. You need certain things to survive in the postmodern era. And so it's hard being an earthling because you're trapped by gravity and space-time, and there's certain mortal limits that human beings have to deal with. You try to fight it. You could try to fight mortality. I could run more. I could exercise more. I could diet more. But at the end of the day, I can't become younger or stronger than I was before. Period. Stop. Full stop. And so I could spend a whole year not smoking, not drinking, no drugs, and eating kale and running. I still wouldn't get younger. I still wouldn't get stronger. I would perhaps get healthier, but I could probably live longer, but I wouldn't become immortal. I wouldn't become... I could add a few more years, maybe even a decade to my life, but, I'm not saying that people shouldn't try. I'm not saying that. People should try to live longer and live healthier. That's true. Like Mark Wahlberg or Joe Rogan or anybody else would say. Chris Pratt or whatever your flavor is. But at the end of the day, everybody's going to die. It's just a matter of when and where. So as scary as that sounds, but so Are there aliens? Yes, probably. There's probably aliens. There's probably different life on every planet. Growing up in East Texas woods, in Texas, there's lots of different creatures. So I was amazed by how many creatures there were when I was a kid in Liberty County, Texas, out in Dayton, off 1409. Out there by the woods, there were these ditches, and all the kids would swim, and they'd have all these tadpoles, and these tadpoles would become frogs, and the frogs would jump. There'd be turtles, and there would be snakes, and there would be dragonflies, and there would be ants, and all these different life forms everywhere. It was just natural because I grew up in a swamp, in a Texas forest. We knew that in the morning you see the squirrels in the trees and they're collecting their nuts. You see the birds, you see the falcons, and you got this kind of like, beautiful atmosphere. You're a child and you're exploring. And when I was a kid, I used to play with the grub worms and play in the dirt. They had the grub worms, and then they would have the roly polies, these little guys that would curl up into a ball. Like I play with the roly polies, and I play with the grub worms, and there'd be the earthworms, and we'd play with them and stuff, and like there'd be cats and dogs, and occasionally you'd see something, maybe you see a deer if you went out into the woods and into the country, or you'd see a wild boar. And sometimes in Texas you see a wild boar, a wild pig. You'd emerge from the forest and you see the meadow. And there'd be a break in the forest, and you see the meadow, and you see the wild feral pigs with the warthogs, and they had the big fucking tusks and everything, and you'd be like, oh my God, this is amazing. And maybe adults are not as amazed so much, but children usually are amazed by everything. And I certainly was, because there was so much out there. There was so much out there in the wilderness, and I'd be hard pressed to believe that the universe wasn't a wilderness too. That there isn't strange creatures out there. There isn't bizarre biological life. I would be hard pressed to believe that in the world that I grew up in, that there wasn't other worlds of similar caliber, maybe even beyond. Maybe not like Avatar, or Star Trek, or Aliens, or Stargate, or whatever, but it's hard to convince me that there's no aliens because of what I've seen so far. If you lived on this world, you can't believe that there's not other worlds with great biology and diversity. So I don't know if these worlds have intelligent, evolved life like ours that have been evolving for thousands of years. I don't even believe that we're monkeys. I don't believe that we're gorillas either. I don't believe that we're primitives. Maybe we went through primitive states. Cro-Magnon. A lot of people of religious faith will not accept that we were primitive beings at one time. But this can't be it. It just can't. Those in the old world looked to the horizon, and they had no idea there was a new world that awaited them. But the new world already existed. It was already flourishing. They just hadn't built a boat to go see it. They didn't believe that it existed. Just because you don't believe in other planets and aliens and other life and other solar systems and galaxies doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means we haven't discovered it yet. That's it. I love the dragonfly. I always love that. The dragonflies with the compound eyes and flying around with the... I always loved that. That was my favorite. Besides the roly-polies, but the butterflies, the birds, the skunks. The skunks were funny, right? Out in the forest, right? The skunks would stink, smell like ass. It'd be hilarious. It's like there's a skunk. It smelled like shit, but it would be hilarious because all the kids would go, "Oh my God, it's a skunk!" It would smell like butthole, and all the kids out there in the Texas wilderness would laugh because it smelled like ass. And not only did the skunk, you could smell the skunk for miles. When it released that shit, you could smell that shit for miles. At least a mile, at least, if not more. You could smell the skunk. Turtles, the snakes, all the wilds, everything of the wild, alligators, water moccasins, and on and on. It's a beautiful world. It's a beautiful place. And maybe at some point we take it for granted, but we shouldn't. We shouldn't take this world for granted. All of its beauty, all of its possessions weren't important. Getting more gold isn't important. And I might find that I might get a lot of money. I might say, you know what, the US dollar is going down or the world currency is going down. I'm going to go get some gold. You might see myself seeking gold. But that's not what anybody's seeking, really, is it? You might see me seeking gold, but I'm ashamed of it because I know that's not the true wealth of this country or any other country or any other people. The true wealth of people is the health and well-being of its people, of its creatures, of its falcons, of its birds, of its beasts, of its insects. That's the true wealth of a people, is how healthy its ecosystem is. It's not how much gold I get. It's not how many cars or how many houses I buy. It's not even how many children I have or how many wives I have. The true wealth of any civilization is nature. How much it respects nature. That's it. And any civilization that does not respect nature itself is doomed to hell, to decline. In this culture, we're taught not to smell the roses. That we're just dreamers if we do. But I say they're wrong. So when I hear that Barack Hussein Obama or Donald Trump or whoever says there are no aliens, there is no other life beyond this world, I laugh. I know they're full of shit. They're just not saying that. They're not saying that in which they already know. I know they already know it. They don't tell people about the vastness of the biology, of astrobiology and the universe, because they're afraid to tell what they know, which is the truth, because they're afraid it'll break down religion. I don't see how it breaks down religion If God is in infinite creations, infinite forms, I don't see how that breaks down religion. Because to me, it doesn't. It speaks truth that religion is real, that God is real, and there is a purpose, and there is a great infinite creation in the heavens. And that does inspire me. Politicians could placate us and say, oh, that's not real, that's not true, all day. But in your heart of hearts, when you see a turtle in the pond, don't people mostly think, well, there could be other ponds, there could be other turtles? They're bullshitting us about the true vastness of the universe, the true scope of biology, the true scope of existence. They don't want to tell us about that. They think that a lot of us can't handle it. But I think that most people are prepared to know, and that they do believe in higher powers. They do believe in higher existence. They do believe in higher biology and higher planes and higher gods. And I don't think that anybody's really scared is going to trip out because they know the truth. The truth is not unacceptable. The truth is something that we're unwilling to accept. Now, probably politicians and government systems probably try to hide this fact from the public is because they want the power for themselves. So they don't want me contacting aliens and hanging out with aliens with advanced technology, and they don't get a piece. They don't get a cut. They don't want me doing that because that's dangerous to them, to their system. But the truth of extraterrestrials, the truth of beings, the truth of biology beyond this world cannot be kept secret forever. There's going to be an incident or something's going to happen. So they might as well disclose early and cover their ass rather than bullshit and then somebody get aboard a spacecraft and live stream that shit to the fucking whole earth, you know. As far-fetched as it sounds, in the universe there's a hierarchy of power, and it doesn't follow Earth laws. Ronald Reagan, at a speech in the United Nations in the 1980s, once said, what if we were under attack by extraterrestrial threat and we had to put aside our differences, our petty differences, and join together to meet that extraterrestrial threat? Did he know something that we didn't know? I guess conspiracy theorists have been going crazy on that line for a long time. But it's true. All these believers are saying don't believe, that you're a fool to believe. I think that's ridiculous and abhorrent even. All the believers are saying don't believe in certain things, but believe in others. Really? We'll see. But we didn't come from the swamp to the stars to go this far and not go farther, as Ronald Reagan would say. Our climb from the swamp to the stars has been epic, and we're not going back, we're going forward. I came from the swamp, and we're going to the stars. But at the end of the day, I'm a true believer. And I know a lot of people out there are true believers. Not because we watch X-Files, not because we watch Star Trek. And we're true believers. We believe in God and His great providence. God is a term. God is an ideal. God is everywhere and everything. God has no boundaries. God has no limits. God has no problem that God cannot solve. God is everything. God has answer. God has purpose. God has genius. God is supreme. God. But God is also loving. God is also infinite. God is also carrying great wisdom. God is also looking after all of us. God is our caretaker, our master, but not in an imperial sense. God is our liberator, our freedom person, our freedom man. No, I'm not really scared of it. You know, I heard the buzz the other day. I don't care if an alien comes down tomorrow. I heard the buzz. It was like, I guess, you know, after COVID and stuff, it felt cold and dead, and you thought the world was just doomed. And the economy crashed, and everything was fucked up, and just everybody kind of gave up. Yeah, it was rough. It was a rough one. Oh yeah. It was a rough deal. The economy crashed. There was a plague. Everybody was sad. Everybody was depressed. Everybody was suicidal. It sucked, man. And I'm not saying it didn't suck. Man, it sucked. It was horrible. And I never want to go through that again. Nobody else does. Not in this country or any other country. Nobody wants to wear a mask. Nobody wants to separate from their people 6 feet. Nobody wants to get infected by a virus and be fucking cold on the ground in a black death of hell. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants this bullshit future. Nobody. Nobody. No one loves this alienated, dark future, suffering and pain of loneliness and drug abuse and fucking suicide and Satanism and all this communism and socialism. Nobody wants to suffer in that pool of Marxist satanic hell. Nobody wants this. Nobody ever wants it. Nobody deserves this lifestyle or future. So, I mean, I could see what could happen. So the Russian Federation comes to the aid of the Iranian Islamic Republic, and we go to World War III. And maybe the Soviet Union, maybe the Russian Federation is weak. They've lost millions of soldiers. Now, I always said the point of the Ukrainian war was to weaken the Russian military. That was it. The point of the Ukrainian war and all Western powers arming Ukraine was not exactly to liberate Ukraine. The goal was to weaken our greatest adversary, one of our greatest adversaries, the Russian Federation. The goal of the Ukrainian war, no matter what U-2 tells you, the goal of it was to destroy and weaken the Russian Federation's military. And they've killed thousands of millions. In fact, the Ukrainians have attacked back and taken most of their territory. The Russian Federation is not winning this war. They're getting killed by the day. The Russians are fleeing the Russian Federation, the totalitarian state. They are crippled and weak. So the goal was not just to liberate Ukraine, but it was to weaken the Russian forces, our greatest adversary, the Russian Federation military, and Vladimir Putin. He has weakened beyond repair. His forces clamor for freedom. They clamor for Western freedom. They're tired of their men coming back in bloody bags. 1 million, 2 million plus. They're dying all the time in this pointless war. But the point by Europe and Western civilization, and the United States and our allies, was to weaken the Russian Federation military. And now it's weakened almost beyond repair. Now, I don't hate the Russian people, but I'm not a supporter of Vladimir Putin and his totalitarian policies. I'm tired of him sending his men to die when he never gets on the front line himself. I'm tired of this motherfucker living in a fucking golden palace with no consequences, and he's not killed or injured or maimed, while millions of his people go to war against Europe and Ukraine, and he never faces a fucking consequence. Now that is what most people are tired of. Why hasn't anyone blown him apart or tried to assassinate him? Why hasn't anybody stabbed him in his heart or his neck? Why? They're afraid that if they tried to kill him, that they get sent to the gulag. Now, if you're a criminal in the United States, the maximum terrorist criminal, you're sent to Colorado Supermax. And so you're in the Colorado Supermax, you're allowed 1 hour of sunlight each day. The other 23 hours, you're in a cell. You can't move. Like Ted Kaczynski and Diajohar Jakar, or whatever his name is, from the Boston Marathon. You're basically, all your shit's plastic, so you're not metal, so you can't attack anybody with metal. And so the federal prison in the United States, Colorado Supermax, is very tame compared to what they do to you if you're a criminal in the Russian Federation. So the Russian Federation is different. They have gulags. Gulags are work camps. If you get captured in the Russian Federation by Vladimir Putin, you're sent to slowly die in a work camp. You work your ass off every day. They starve you to death. And you're like a skeleton. It's worse than boot camp or something. It's worse. It's worse than naval boot camp, man. No, they don't get any food, dude. It's called a gulag. The Russian Federation prison is called a gulag. You freeze your ass off. While they give you substandard rations. You can't even survive on even the bread or the gruel you're given. That's gulag. So most Russian Federation people probably don't protest or rebel against Vladimir Putin that much, even though they want to. They're going to get sent to a fucking gulag. They know they're going to get sent to a Siberian freezing your ass off fucking, gulag. Gulag. The gulag. Yeah. Where did I hear that word first? I saw this movie called Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. I didn't know what a gulag was when I was 5 because I'm from America. I was out in East Texas and Dayton, Liberty. And I was watching Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. One of the punishments was gulag. I had no idea what that was. A gulag is a Russian work prison where they starve you to death. It's really not that better than a Chinese or a Nazi prison camp. It's a Stalin camp. They starve you to death. They work you to death. There's no parole. There's no way out. You're just stuck. That's the Russian gulag. It's hardcore. So, surviving that, you got to be real tough. How many even do? So the worst thing that could happen would be that the Russian Federation comes to the aid of Iranians, and there's an incident where the United States attacks, or the Russians attack the United States, trying to take over Iran. And then World War III begins because there's a conflict between the Russian Federation, the West, and the United States. Now, I do not expect that the Russian Federation would win. They have old Soviet nukes. They have no new nukes. It's a failed state. The military is weak. I think we could clean their fucking clocks. They might be able to launch some nuclear weapons to Seattle or Houston or somewhere. They might be able to knock off some nukes, unless they have Dead Man's Hand. Dead Man's Hand was a theoretical Russian-Soviet plan for if Moscow was attacked by nuclear weapons, that Dead Man's Hand, they would, even if they were all killed, they would launch to all major American cities. That's called Dead Man's Hand. Dead Man's Hand is, I'm already dead, but my nukes, my computers are already launching against you all these nuclear weapons, so it'll wipe out mankind in the process. That's called the theoretical supposed plan was Dead Man's Hand. Dead Man's Hand would be, you kill me and my people, but I'm nuking all your people at the end because it launches even after we're all dead. That's called Dead Man's Hand. Now, why should we be at war with the Russians? Why? Again, why are we at war with Russia? We shouldn't be. We should be friends and trading partners. Why are we at bloody nuclear war with Russians? This is a ridiculous thing. The Russian people are so noble, so great. Why are we at war with Russia? This is a ridiculous thing. This is a ridiculous thing if the West loves Russia so much and the Russians love Americans so much. Then why are we at war? This is ridiculous. Why are we going to the brink of war? It should not happen. It's intolerable. It's ridiculous. Just because Napoleon and Adolf Hitler did it doesn't mean we should do it too. It's a ridiculous thing. And I say we should stop hostilities against Russia, and Russia should stop hostilities against Ukraine and Europe. It's easy to say, but it's not going to happen overnight. Still fighting over the same lands. The Ukraine, the breadbasket of Russia, the heart of Russia, Kiev, the great fertile lands. There's the best soil, the best land that can create the best wheat and the great harvest. Why should we go to war and endanger the whole world over this particular grain, this particular food? Why do we fight over this one patch of the best soil of the universe, of this planet? Why? All the nations of the earth fight for this one country, this one place that grows the best crops, has the greatest wheat, the greatest soil. Why? The most fertile plains. Why does everyone fight for this one place? It's an abomination. It's sad. But I understand why they fight over this soil. It's the greatest soil ever. It's the greatest wheat. The breadbasket of Russia, the breadbasket of the world. It feeds the world. It's the greatest soil ever on earth. The most fertile. The most plentiful bounty. I know why they do it. It's not just rare earth elements and minerals why they fight for this one country. A sad situation where you have Russians attacking their own cousins from their former Soviet Union. They're killing their own people and destroying nurseries of babies, of people, human beings, if that means anything to anybody anymore. Not just a number. Killing people by the hundreds, by the thousands, by the millions of this one country, this one land. This onslaught of terrorism, this onslaught of this terrible war. The United States is taking Iran to give a blow to the Russian Federation. Just as Europe and the United States are giving a blow to the Russian Federation, arming Ukraine against the Russians, and they're desperately dying. now. I'm not a Russian sympathizer. I'm not a socialist or a communist. But the Russians have done nothing to me. So, the Russians have done nothing to me as an American. They have done nothing to me. They have just tried to conquer an ancient land of Russia. That's all they've done. In a ridiculous power grab. Maybe they deserve their suffering, but we should stop the bleeding, stop the killing now. I'm not a Russian lover. I'm not a Russian sympathizer. But can we stop this bleeding now? Can we not make peace before it's too late? Can we not make peace before it's too late? Can we not join together now? Can we stop this bleeding? Can we stop this atrocity? I think we have the collective strength to do so. I think we can make peace with Ukraine and the Russian Federation and stop this relentless war before we go to World War III, before we attack naval ships from Russia that are trying to protect Iran, before we destroy the Islamic Republic of Iran, which should be destroyed, by the way. But should we risk war so intense? I thought we could have peace after the Soviet Union fell in 1991. And I still want that peace now. Every Russian, every American, every European wants peace. We don't want endless World War III. We don't want it. We don't need it. And we don't deserve it. God bless and best of success to the Russian people, to the European people, to America and Western civilization. I am with you. I love you people. I don't want it to see destroyed. I don't want to see the Kremlin destroyed. I don't want to see all your great cultural achievements destroyed in a haze of nuclear destruction. There is no reason that this conflict should continue. And there's no reason why this call for peace should not advance. God bless. My brethren in Russia, Europe, and America, and around the world, there's no reason for this conflict, for these millions of lives to be lost. We shouldn't be on that course in the first place. God bless.